Wait. Metroid eggs. It can't be.
Hey folks, welcome back to Other M. We are here at the final boss. We are fighting a Queen Metroid, and I'll admit, that's pretty goddamn cool. For those of you not familiar with the Metroid series, Metroids act very similarly to bees and other various insects. I don't know, I'm not an insectologist. In that they have a queen, a special Metroid, that basically gives birth to all the normal Metroids. Now, this is a little weird because Metroids also have eggs and hatch from them, but I guess the Queen can create them just out of nowhere. Queen Metroids were introduced in Metroid 2, Return of Samus for the Game Boy, which is a very underplayed title. I haven't played it. Along with other various life cycle stages of Metroids that we have not seen since that game, but the Queen made its glorious return here. Now, the first phase of this fight is basically taking care of the little Metroids, which can, in fact, be frozen, despite what Adam told us. So there goes that whole Sector Zero Metroids are especially dangerous thing. But basically, you gotta charge beam, dodge out of the way, and get them on the rebound. And that will freeze them, and then you shoot them with a super missile, much in the same way you fought them for most of the series. Good old classic dealing with Metroids. So then, once you've taken care of the babies, it's time to deal with the mother. Now, the Queen can be a bit of a butt, mostly because the hitboxes are very generous in her favor, as far as I can tell. The fire, it's a little hard to judge when exactly it'll damage you, and she likes to ram her head into the wall, and it's easier said than done to quick dodge out of the way. Anyway, your objective there is to get rid of those crystals on her neck, which are a new addition to this game. They were not on the Queen in SR388. I'm not sure what's up with them. But destroy all of those, and you will take care of the Queen. Just getting surprised, bitches.
This facility will intercept Galactic Federation orbit in approximately 30 seconds. This facility will intercept Galactic Federation orbit in approximately 30 seconds. Emergency brakes engaged. Brace for impact. Warning. Emergency brakes engaged. Brace for impact.
There are a lot of problems with that cutscene, but for now, we have a final boss to take care of. Let's shoot it in the belly, shoot it in the belly, shoot it in the belly. Okay, he's done shooting in the belly. So you remember those power bombs that you learned about in the tutorial? No? Well, you can use them now.
closer! Don't come any closer! Stay away from me!
Easy. I won't come any closer until you say so. My name is Samus. I'm an independent bounty hunter. I know the situation here and I know how you must feel. I'm here to secure your safety. May I come closer? What's your role at this facility?
I'm responsible for all operations. My name is Madeline Bergman.
Wait a minute. I met another woman who called herself Madeline Bergman. What's going on here?
What you met was MB. She's an android. She was created with the intellectual data of Mother Brain and consequently developed Mother Brain's consciousness as well.
What?
The Federation's foolish plan. Mother Brain's rampage. Everything that happened here was just as Madeline, or rather MB, had told me. The person who sabotaged the system to stop MB's rampage and sent out the distress call had to be the person standing before me. It had to be Madeline Bergman.
MB was the artificial intelligence originally developed to regenerate and control Space Pirate Special Forces. Because we wanted it to control these special forces through telepathy, we were forced to model its infrastructure after Mother Brain. At that time, MB didn't have a human form. Before long, we started to see the viability of creating Metroid clones. Once we did, MB started to take on her current shape.
But why?
Because we needed the first Metroid hatchling to recognize MB as its mother, she had to take on the form of a living thing. With that as our theoretical basis, we were able to create the ideal relationship with the Metroid. One that wasn't based on dominance or control.
I remembered the baby hatching before my eyes. When it attacked Mother Brain in order to save me, that was the result of the kind of ideal relationship they were trying to develop with MB. They found the perfect means of control and started propagating Metroids in Sector 0. At the same time, they were conducting genetic manipulation experiments to create unfreezable Metroids. Apparently, the queen I met earlier was the first of these propagated Metroids to mature. They wanted to preserve her as a control specimen, so they had left her genes unaltered. The fact that she'd grow into a queen was something not even Madeline and her team could have predicted. Only special infants had the genetic coding to become queens.
Once our MB was in a human form, she excelled. As an interface between us and them, her skills with personal interaction humanized her to a great extent.
If my theory is correct, this is going to be a groundbreaking multi-system for artificial intelligence.
Her confidence was unwavering, and her ability to learn was greater than we'd expected, but then she developed emotions, then a nascent sense of herself. She began asserting her own thoughts, and her opinions began to contradict ours. It's quite typical for artificial intelligence to evolve as a result of self-analysis. However, there's no precedent for an AI like MB developing emotions. It's possible that her interactions with the Metroids brought it about, but we don't know for sure.
The newly hatched infant took to her like his mother. And perhaps at that moment, MB began to develop a soul. It was all conjecture, but the idea wouldn't leave my mind.
And that was when we decided to alter her AI program.
A human-like existence, but one without feelings. To make MB less than human, the researchers had to deny her that consciousness. I knew this, but in my heart, I felt sympathy for MB.
On the day we were going to alter MB's program, right before my eyes, I watched her being restrained.
Stop! What are you doing to her?
These orders are from above. Take her away.
Wait!
She reached out to me and asked
Calm
me
down.
for help, but there was nothing I could do.
What's happening?
My presence that day caused a disturbing reaction in her. She was fixated on me.
Madeline had taken to calling MB Melissa. She took the initials MB and told the AI they stood for Melissa Bergman.
It looks great on you.
MB liked that name. It made it sound like Madeline was calling her her daughter. Once she felt abandoned and hunted by that same Madeline, MB telepathically commanded the special forces to revolt. The facility fell into complete chaos and suffered widespread damage.
MB was trying to get revenge on the Federation Army. And on us. It's possible all humans have become the target of her hatred.
With the space pirates under her control, she was able to propagate the Metroids in Sector 0, even creating a Queen Metroid. She was well armed and planning her attack on the Galactic Federation. But Adam and I crushed her plan completely. And now, who could guess where she was and what she planned next?
She's backed into a corner. And her hatred is entirely focused on you and me right now. MB! Wait, MB, calm down. Please listen.
Madeline, step back!
We were wrong. It's all over.
Madeline!
I was not wrong. The humans were foolish, and I was forced to bring judgment on them. And yet, because of you, I failed. You must understand the weight of your crime. You must pay the price for what you've done.
Please, MB. We have to get past this.
No. You will all be judged.
It's okay now. I won't ever fail you again. I promise. I'm so sorry. Melissa. Oh, Melissa, it looks great on you. That's your name.
Let's go! Move!
me!
And so, in an ironically fitting ending, the last interactive section of the game has you rooted to the spot. Isn't that wonderful? Your objective here is to clear out the enemies so that you have a clear shot at MB, so that you can save the space colony. But things won't go as planned.
Stop! Don't move!
Melissa!
Hey, are you okay? Hey, hang down over there, too! I'm getting you out of here.
So, Miss Aaron, I heard what happened. You performed admirably. You can leave the rest to us.
Come on, get up now.
Madeline!
Wait, Aaron. Unfortunate what happened to Commander Malkovich. And to think that his entire unit was annihilated. Truly a tragic day. Would you agree, Aaron? Sadly, with them gone, you're just an outsider. And given your unofficial status, I cannot allow you contact with the witness. With your predilection for transporting illegal cargo like infant Metroids, I must ask that you restrict your... Time for the lady to go home. Someone escort her.
Yes, sir. Time for us to go. Come on, princess.
What? Stop right there. Who are you?
Anthony Hicks, sir. Galactic Federation Platoon 7. I need to secure the safety of any survivors, Commander Malkovich's orders, and the purpose of this mission.
What?
Authorized by the chairman of the Galactic Federation. Of course.
What do you mean, the chairman?
But man, you guys made it here quick. I mean, if I hadn't stopped the engines, we might have missed each other. Crazy. Crazy how something good can come out of something bad. Whoa, didn't mean to wake her. Guess I ought to be quiet.
Anthony was trying to be courteous to Madeline. She was exhausted and had only just fallen asleep. She needed the rest. She had a lot of explaining to do once she got to Galactic Federation headquarters. For herself and for Melissa.
Still can't get my head around it. What a crazy mission.
Anthony sighed as he muttered to himself. What would have happened if we hadn't been called there? Might the furious MB have attacked the Galactic Federation and brought about its utter destruction? Melissa wasn't insane, no. One day, a consciousness simply bloomed within her. And those that caused it to bloom, the humans, called it insanity. I was the insane one. That was what Madeline muttered softly as she sank into sleep. The selfish conceits of humans drove MB to violence. It was their distorted perceptions and greed that awoke such fury in the fledgling girl's heart. Her thought was to punish the foolish and conceited. But MB could not complete her mission. As Melissa, she was defeated. With their one vulnerability overcome, the Metroids were indestructible. If some fool just following orders had taken the savage creatures to those who sought them. I can't imagine what would have happened if Adam hadn't recognized the looming danger. But the cost was far too great. Why did Adam have to pay with his life? For me, I couldn't believe he was dead. For the first time, I questioned his choice.
No objections, right, lady?
I heard Adam's voice in my head. And I knew in my heart that he had made the right decision. Just as he had so many years ago. In that moment, I swore not to grieve his death. And for the first time, I gave him a thumbs up. Just in case he was watching over me. His amused expression looked as though he wanted to say something. His face and Adam's swirled together. That last smile as Adam drifted away.
It would be unreasonable for me to try to summarize everything that I like and dislike about this game during this credit sequence. To do that, I would probably just have to do a riff of every cutscene in the game. But I'm going to try to summarize the strengths and weaknesses in fairly vague terms, but hopefully cover everything I want to cover. In terms of gameplay, honestly, it's very repetitive. It gets dull, the level design is uninteresting, and often the areas and the path that you're supposed to follow are also very uninteresting. But I really like the boss fights. They're climactic, they're involved, they're usually pretty complex, and often pretty challenging, at least when you're on hard mode. And as such, I find them probably the highlight of the game. Plot-wise, I really do appreciate this game taking that stab and trying to come up with a dramatic, thematic, deep story, which is very rare on a Nintendo console, especially with first-party Nintendo characters like Samus. Unfortunately, as you can probably guess, it didn't really turn out very well, but I still appreciate the effort. My biggest issues with the narrative, first off, the translation, pretty shabby. Unfortunately, there's a lot of word salad, poorly phrased things, and remnants of Japanese syntax, and it just didn't make the transition over to the States very well. It's unfortunate. But there are a lot of problems beyond that. Most notably, I think, is that in attempting to address the themes that they wanted to address, most notably parenthood in all its forms, the writers drastically oversimplified the individual merits of each character, and as such created some unintended consequences for each character, in that Adam, with his attempts to become an authority figure and a father figure and one to be respected, became basically domineering and a dictator and rather unlikable because he's so restrictive. And likewise, Samus, being on the other side of that power dynamic, was way too fragile, way too submissive, and completely against the character that we've come to know throughout the series. And honestly, most of the characters are just flat. Anthony, who is he? He's the fun-loving black guy. Melissa, she's... Actually, I do like the idea of Melissa with her rebellion being an allegory for adolescent rebellion. But what's her character? Her character is like a daughter who rebels, and that's it. What can you actually say about her personality? What can you say about Madeline Berkman's personality? You can't say much. They're all binary characters, and that makes the entire narrative just a lot less interesting. There's less to think about with each character, and a lot of the time, the one thing to think about with that character is against our previous knowledge of said character. And from a perspective that ignores the characters, which is a terrible perspective, the plot itself is not very interesting. It's the same sci-fi government conspiracy plot that we've seen many times before. Not just in Metroid, although we have seen it in Metroid, it was in Metroid Fusion. How many times is a government facility going to have some sort of experiment for military power that goes wrong and turns against them? You've seen it everywhere. You've seen it in other video games, you've seen it in movies, you've seen it in books. It's overdone and it's predictable. I maintain that the story is really about developing the relationship between Adam and Samus, and really the actual events of the story are pretty much inconsequential and secondary to that development. It's just unfortunate that that development was so poorly done. So what can we say in conclusion? The gameplay primarily was repetitive and the map design was boring, but the bosses were pretty fun. The story attempted to pursue one theme of parenthood, but underdeveloped it, and in attempting to create that theme, underdeveloped its characters, creating very binary and uninteresting cast for this rather cliché plot that we've seen many times before. All that is compounded with a rather poor translation and, unfortunately, some rather poor voice acting, and you have a generally unsatisfactory experience. What troubles me most is that I know that there was potential in this game. I see its remnants, and that's the most painful part.